apakah betul human resource Indonesian people lebih ramah, lebih giat bekerja, ataukah sama saja, ataukah malah lebih malas?
Indonesian people in general are very, very kind, very, pleasant, nice to talk to, very friendly. So for hospitality, I mean, that's a step in the right direction from the very beginning, And if you stay in a 5-star hotel in Europe now, you check in, you have your bags. Okay, where's the bellman to carry my bags? It's like, there's no bellman.
No bellman.
It's like, there's the bags, there's the lift, there's your keys. See you later, buddy.
Ini 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
Founders Theory.
Hai folks, di sini ada CEO dari Archipelago International, Mr. John Flood.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Thank you very much. Mr. John sudah 25 tahun di Indonesia, bisa mendengar bahasa Indonesia dan bisa berbicara sedikit-sedikit bahasa Indonesia.
Ya, bisa sedikit-sedikit ya.
Keren ya. Aku kayak ini udah kayak podcastnya langsung jadi international podcast loh. Jadi yang menarik adalah Archipelago International itu membawahi 300 kunci atau 300 hotel. Ada Aston, Alana, ada Hotel Neo, ada Quest, Faith Hotel, dan masih banyak lagi di Indonesia dan di Southeast Asia. Berdiri dari tahun 1997, 97. Wow, 27 years business. Mr. John, kenapa mendirikan di Jakarta pertama kali?
Well, the first time I came to Indonesia came to Bali. I was living in Denmark. I'd been there for about 5 years. And then a guy I knew there asked me to come down. I was finishing off my MBA. And a guy asked me to come down to Bali and help him manage his villa property down there. So I came down originally it was supposed to be for 6 months. But then I really enjoyed it in Bali, in Indonesia. So I decided to stay. But actually, funnily enough, the first time I came to Indonesia, we didn't have internet in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And if you went to he asked me, come to Bali. So I said, yeah, sure. So, but I didn't know Bali was part of Indonesia.
Yeah.
I thought Bali was a separate country because when I went to the bookstore, it was like you had Lonely Planet in those days, right? The books. So I had like Lonely Planet Bali, Lonely Planet Indonesia. So I was like, okay, I need Bali, so it's a different country, right? Yeah. So I was here about a couple of months, and then I figured out, okay, Bali's part of Indonesia, yeah. So that was it. But originally I didn't know. So, but I came down here and then I stayed in Bali for 3 years. And then after that, then I met my partner, Charles Brookfield, in Jakarta. And then we started talking about things. And then in the end, we started off the Archipelago company. Yep. And then kind of went on from there, yeah. But that's the original reason I came.
Mr. John sudah dari umur 15 tahun, since 15 years old, sudah tertarik memang dengan hotel. Dan bahkan sudah bekerja di hotel dari umur 15 tahun.
Yeah. I think I was about maybe 8 years old when I decided to be in hotels, like in the hotel business, because I used to watch them on TV or see different programs, and I used to think, wow, they're so glamorous, And then if we ever went to a hotel or restaurants or wherever I thought they were the greatest places in the world. So I always thought when I get older, I'll start working in those places. Yeah. So then when I was about 15, I started working in bars and restaurants and then hotels. After school, I used to finish school like 4 o'clock, and then I go straight over and start working. Originally I was a waiter, and then a bartender, and then a chef, and then waiter again. So, different stuff after school, keep me entertained. But so I did that until I was 18. When I finished school, for the first 3 years, I was working like basically full time and doing school full time. Yeah. So we used to work after school, maybe from 4:30 until 12 o'clock at night, then go home, do the homework, get up the next morning, go to school, So in Dublin, now in Ireland, school doesn't start until 9 o'clock. Yeah. So you have a little bit of time. It's not like here you have to get up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, there you could get up at, maybe 8:30, and you can still get to school by 9 o'clock. So I was able to sleep.
Ya. Dan waktu itu usia 15 itu belum termasuk di bawah umur ya. Itu sudah boleh bekerja dan sudah dapat payment dan bahkan pernah masuk ke dishwashing division.
Yeah, I did a lot. I mean, I always want,
try everything.
I always wanted, I knew later on if I became a hotel general manager or whatever like that, I'd always all this information, all this experience would be invaluable to me. So I'd be able to know everything, you know. So, and I also wanted the money.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was a good thing. So it was like, worked for me, worked for them. So sometimes I'd work in places, I'd cook all the food. And then afterwards, then I'd become the dishwasher and then wash all the dishes. So I was like, that's kind of the way it ran, you know. That's why I was kind of like that, yeah.
Ya. Yang sangat menarik adalah saya pribadi pernah nginep di Aston Serang. Di situ yang unik adalah biasanya kalau di hotel, ini seingatku kamarnya itu sejutaan lebih doang. Itu biasanya ada telepon. Telepon biasa, dial berapa untuk ini. Di situ nggak ada telepon. Karena waktu itu aku pengen kontak kan, concierge. Wah, nggak ada telepon. Ada Google di situ. Aku coba apa secanggih itu. Aku cuma bilang, hey Google, please call the concierge. Dia langsung telepon loh. Itu aku nginep dan gara-gara itu anakku kan umur 3 tahun. 3 years old dan dia suka ngeliatin kok orang ini cuma kayak oke, apa dan segala macam kan. Nah dia coba ngomong juga. Akhirnya kita coba play musik di situ dan segala macam. Dan menurutku itu salah satu inisiatif yang unik dan menarik. Karena kan betul saat setelah COVID kita sangat menghindari buat sentuh telepon. Karena kita tahu katanya di hotel itu yang paling jorok dan kotor adalah remote TV, telepon itu kan ya mungkin kalau dibersihkan juga nggak bisa terlalu maksimal karena itu kan elektronik gitu kan. Jadi ketika ada Oke Google itu, wah itu sangat membantu, sangat membantu. Dan yang unik adalah aku lihat bisnis modelnya. Tempat kamar mandinya itu terbatas ruangnya. Jadi di situ bukan bathtub tapi ofuro.
Ofuro ya, a wooden Japanese style bathtub ya.
Exactly. Dan itu menurutku aku belum pernah nginep di hotel yang pakainya ofuro bukan bathtub gitu. Kayak kok kreatif ya. Ini Aston, ini kok kreatif gitu. Jadi poin-poinnya adalah ternyata memang di Aston itu teknologi itu adalah sesuatu yang memang sangat penting dan sangat difokuskan. Kalau tidak salah, untuk membuat sistem internal di Archipelago International, kalau tidak salah membutuhkan waktu 1-2 tahun untuk 30 orang yang mengerjakannya bersama-sama. Betul atau salah?
Sorry, I don't understand that question. What's that?
Oh, sorry. To develop the software for Archipelago International, I heard that you need like 20 to 30 people in 1 to 2 years.
For the hotel. Yeah.
Is it correct?
Yeah, I mean, we developed our own system, what's called the property management system in a hotel, right? That does the front of house, the back of house, and the point of sale system. So the front of house would be like the reservation system and front office where people check in. The back of house would be the finance system where all the accounting is done, and then the point of sale system is in the restaurants. So during COVID, we thought, we expected COVID would last for about 2 years.
Yeah, okay.
And then we expected after that, then there'd be a recovery for about 2 years. And then after that, there'd be a boom for 2 years, like a real travel boom. So we decided, okay, what are we going to do during these 2 years when things are a little bit quiet? I mean, obviously we had a lot of staff, we had a lot of payroll. We said, we always wanted to develop our own property management system for the hotels. So we decided, okay, this is the time to do it. So we had a good team of people already together because we had been developing our own software for apps and other bits of asset management systems, payroll systems, stuff like that. But we said, okay, we'll try and put the whole package together. Originally, we only wanted to do the front of house and the point of sale system because the back of house is really complicated.
Yeah.
But after about 6 months, then things were going very well. So we said, okay, we'll also do the back of house system. So in the end, we developed our own system. So that kind of fits into our overall kind of plan of being, fully contained hotel management. So if people ask us for stuff, we can do everything from design the hotel, do the interior design, do the mechanical, the electrical, plumbing, and then set up all the software systems and even the hardware systems like the points and the switches and stuff like that. The cabling even we can do these days. So we're it's a full, one-stop shop, complete package. So this fits in well because only 5% of property management systems globally are actually the 3 parts.
Yeah,
a lot of them are only like front of house or
only 5%.
Only 5%. So if you get a complete system, that's quite unusual, yeah. And then the other thing was that we were hoteliers developing it for hoteliers, whereas a lot of times it's like software companies developing it for. So it's missing some of the bits and pieces. It's not as easy to use, flowing between screens or functions and stuff like that. But for us, we were able to put together. So we tried to make it also for Gen Z a little bit, all the new front office people coming through. So, and they're very familiar with Google.
Yeah.
So we, a lot of our systems from 20 years ago have been based on Google. So we said, like, if we made a system, we wanted it that if Google made a hotel management system, a property management system, it would be like that.
Yeah.
So it's very familiar for people. So the training time on it is much less. All the staff are very familiar with it. So it works out really well,
Ya. Yang menarik adalah biasanya 30% dari HOD itu adalah perempuan umumnya. Itu disarankan begitu.
70%
Ya,
female,
at least
yeah.
30% untuk most atau common companies. Tapi di Archipelago International itu 70%.
Yeah, in the corporate office, yeah. I mean, we're about 250 people in the corporate office, and we have.
Dan itu 70% perempuan.
Yeah.
Why?
That's just the way it worked out. I mean, we never really made a plan on that. We were always like an equal opportunity company and stuff like that. But it was just the kind of the right person came for the job. That's just the way it worked out. So for us, it's great. I mean, we never really give it much thought actually. But just when you were discussing it today, it's like, that is the numbers actually. Yeah, it is that. I mean, we don't really track it specifically, but that's just the way it worked out, So, but it worked out great for us. I mean, it overall as kind of like, because we set ourselves up in the beginning as a holistic type company, if you like. So we wanted everybody to be like in harmony. Yeah. Everybody's aligned with the company. Yeah. There's good momentum, good feeling in the company and stuff like that. So I guess a lot of the girls, a lot of the ladies who joined the company, they kind of fit into that profile of what we're looking to do and how we're looking to, be what we want to be as a company, how we want to treat our employees, how we want to treat, the owners of the hotels. So a lot of the females, the ladies working in the company kind of, that works out really well. They're kind of very understanding, very kind of, they can fit with their company values, quite easily, So it's just the way it worked out, but great for everybody,
Archipelago International kalau tidak salah nomor 42 sedunia. 42nd sedunia. Itu hotel group terbesar sedunia nomor 42 dan lahir di Jakarta. Di Jakarta, pertanyaanku adalah what makes Archipelago International different than any other hotel chain business?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's other companies similar to us, but I don't think there's any exactly like us that I've come across. I mean, I started off working in Intercon and Sheraton hotels and so forth, like big global chains, But I think some of that working with those caused our company to be the way it is today, because we're much easier to use, more user-friendly for staff. They can learn quicker. One of the problems I had when I was 15, start working in hotels was, I was working in the kitchen, I was cooking and stuff, but I think it was maybe 2 or 3 months after I was working in the kitchen that someone showed me the menu, and then I realized, oh, that's what I've been cooking. Nobody was like, never mind like induction training or training. They didn't even show me the menu. I was like just doing my stuff, and they go, oh, do this. And then after a few days, I'd know, okay. But I didn't know what it was I was even cooking, So it was like, okay, that's the menu. I was like, oh, that's the menu. But there was loads of stuff like that. Like, just like, I remember the first day I was there, I was working full day and nobody told me like I had to stop and go for lunch. I just kept working. Like I came in the morning and I just kept working all night. I didn't stop. And I was like, I saw people coming in and out, but nobody told me, hey, Johnny, you have to stop and go for lunch. So I was like, okay. So that's why after all that experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, I try and make all the systems so they're very easy for people to follow. So it's very clear when people come into the company, they know, okay, look, this is what's in it for you. This is what's in it for us. If things go well, you're going to do well. We're going to do well. Everybody's going to be a winner. It's very clear for people. Like we try and make that from the beginning, but just from the basics, we try and make sure everybody understands like where they fit into the organization, what the goal is of the organization, where everybody gets aligned and so forth. So, even down as far as like the lowest person in the company, they understand, okay, they're part of a bigger kind of thing and this is what we're trying to do, so.
Sangat menarik karena dari hal yang sangat kecil sampai hal yang sangat besar yang terjadi di Archipelago International itu yang kulihat adalah hasil dari thoughtful strategi. Mungkin ada yang bilang thoughtful, ada yang bilang heartful, meaningful. Hal yang paling simple, contoh, saat aku nginep di Aston Serang, yang kebetulan ternyata memang secara building itu memang dimiliki sama Mr. John. Ketika malam hari, kolam renang dikasih lampu lampu menyala, balon lampu menyala yang bisa ada di atas air tanpa kabel. Dia pakai baterai mungkin sepertinya, terus dia dorong. Itu di rutin. Aku kan nginep beberapa malam didorongin. Jadi malam-malam itu aku mikir sebenarnya sama istri, ngapain? Siapa yang lihat malam-malam ini? Siapa yang lihat? Itu kan di kolam berenang. Siapa yang ngelihat itu gitu? Tapi pas mereka bikin, at least aku yang ngelihat ya kan. Terus aku pas ngeliat, ya tapi bagus loh. Kita mau foto nggak bisa, karena kan udah gelap. Tapi anakku jadi, ayo kita naik, karena udah banyak nyamuk gitu kan malam-malam. Tapi dia mau ngeliatin itu, oke. Kita naik ke atas, ke kamar, buka jendela, buat liatin itu ternyata. Kayak, ya itu gitu. Anakku ternyata yang ngeliat. Menurutku kayak, itu hal kecil, sangat kecil. Apa itu lampu itu kan, tapi aku nginep di sangat banyak hotel lah. Istriku Maria Sandi, dia tuh penyanyi Ronnie Kristen yang muter-muter. Jadi dia mungkin sudah nginep ke, aku yakin ratusan kalau bukan ribuan, karena dia nyanyi dari 2007. Jadi dia sangat jarang ngelihat yang thoughtful hal-hal sekecil-kecil itu. Nah, sampai hal yang agak besar seperti di Archipelago Aston Pekalongan. Itu hotel Syariah. Pertama di grup Archipelago.
Yeah, it's our first Syariah hotel we did, yeah.
Boleh diceritain sedikit kenapa itu membuat seperti itu?
Well, it goes back to the strategy. From the higher end, the top management of the company, you sit down and you're working out your strategy. You're kind of figuring out, okay, we're playing on this playing field at the moment. We're going to go into hotel management. And then later on, as the years go on, you see other opportunities in other areas. But we see a growth opportunity in Sharia hotels in Indonesia, in Islamic countries.
Yeah.
But also in places like Singapore, for example, where you get a lot of Islamic visitors. It's not an Islamic country, but I mean, there's thousands of Indonesians going to Singapore every day. So for having this kind of business, we thought there'd be a good opportunity. So we moved some of our, made the plans, adjusted our strategy, and kind of went into the Sharia hotel business. So it takes a little bit of research, but we became familiar with it because we've been working on hotels in Saudi Arabia for the last few years. Originally we started in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and now we're doing hotels working with developers in Saudi Arabia for Hajj and Umrah pilgrim travelers going to Jeddah, Mecca, Medina, places like that. So we're working also, as we were working on those, we were learning about, okay, what are Islamic type hotels, what are Sharia hotels, what's the difference between normal hotels. So we thought, we think this would be a good market for us and something to get into. And in Indonesia, we see a growing demand for that kind of hotel. So we thought, okay, let's try and do a Sharia hotel brand. That's where the Aston Pekalongan Sharia came along.
Menarik. Jadi karena Aston Pekalongan Syariah itu selain memang pasti restoran halal, ada arah kiblat, itu kan standar. Tapi ini salah satunya kalau pasangan suami istri atau laki-laki dan perempuan mau nginep, itu KTP harus dicocokin dan ini memang alamatnya harus sama di KTP. Jadi harus terbukti bahwa dia suami istri. Belum lagi kolam berenang yang memang dibedakan jamnya. Jadi ada kolam renang waktunya untuk laki-laki dan kapan waktunya untuk perempuan. Itu pun kolam renangnya ditutup lagi, di cover supaya orang nggak bisa lihat dari luar. Dan beberapa hal lainnya, ada muratol kalau nggak salah. Muratol itu murotal, ada murotal, ada kajian yang bisa didengar. Itu menurutku, ya aku bukan seorang muslim, tapi menurutku itu balik lagi itu thoughtful, sangat thoughtful. Itu hal-hal yang ya bahkan mungkin di Saudi Arabia nggak syariah hotelnya.
They're a little bit like that, but I mean, a lot of the hotels actually in Mecca, they don't have like swimming pools and stuff like that. They don't have like a lot of the facilities actually that people need. In the future, there will be. They are developing more. Like we're doing one development in Medina, for example, which is 3 Aston hotels. That will actually have swimming pools and stuff like that. But normally in Mecca, because demand is so big, the services actually are not that great. That's why we're looking forward to when we open hotels next year in Mecca. We'll be able to provide like proper Indonesian hospitality, like a proper Indonesian buffet like we do here. Because, after I've been there, it's like, I see the Indonesian market there, it gets treated, nicely, but not as good as they should be. The hotel experience in Mecca is not as good as many hotels in Indonesia. So we see that as a potential market for us. And the developers we worked with in Saudi, they also recognize this, that, it's great to bring over an Indonesian hotel operator and, really look after all the Indonesian guests. So they're looking forward to it as well. We're working on it. The hotel designs have been done. They're under construction at the moment. So we're looking forward to doing that next year in Mecca, Jeddah, and Medina. Yeah.
Nice. Keren banget. Biasanya kan orang Indonesia yang kedatangan sistem manajemen operasional dari luar negeri. Tapi ini manajemen operasional dari Indonesia, Archipelago International yang dibawa ke Mekah, Madinah, dan keluar. Dan itu membanggakan. Aku butuh sedikit gambaran, kan waktu itu Mr. John pernah kerja di Intercontinental Dublin. Pernah berpengalaman sangat luas di beberapa negara, bekerja. Apakah betul human resource Indonesian people lebih ramah, lebih giat bekerja, ataukah sama saja, ataukah malah lebih malas? What do you think about it?
Indonesian people in general are very, very kind, very, pleasant, nice to talk to, very friendly. So for hospitality, I mean, that's a step in the right direction from the very beginning, So, I mean, Asia in general would have that, but Indonesia in particular would be like probably one of the top of the list of, like, if you want to open a successful hospitality business and not have to train the staff too much, Indonesia would be the place to do it. Because, you can do a lot more with things down here because, staff here is not as expensive, so you can give a proper hotel experience. Like in Europe, you can't really do that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, if you stay in a 5-star hotel in Europe now, you check in, you have your bags. Okay, where's the bellman to carry my bags? It's like, there's no bellman.
No bellman.
Like, there's the bags, there's the lift, there's your keys. See you later, buddy.
Even if 5-star hotel.
Yeah, I mean, you'd want to be like 5-star diamond before you get anybody giving that kind of service. But in general, like, it's like, carry your own bags, do your own stuff. I mean, that's it. So it's not really, for me, that's not really the hospitality experience I wanted to get into when I was a kid. I was imagining something different, something like how you would imagine hotels to be. So that's what we try and create, even like in the 2-star, 3-star hotels in our brands. You should have that. We try and provide that, yeah. But it's just more of you still get that hotel feeling, It's not too budget. We don't really do like budget hotels. Like, we still provide service, a nice breakfast, and good rooms, and nice, interesting kind of features in the room. So they're we try and a little bit quirky, if you know that word.
Okay.
So things are a little bit. There's always something in the hotels that are a little bit different, a little bit like wooden bathtubs or Google Nest or stuff like this. I mean,
the quirky.
Yeah, that's quirky. I mean, it doesn't have to be an expensive thing.
Yeah.
I mean, those bathtubs, the wooden bathtubs, are actually cheaper than a normal bath. I mean, to have the Google Nest system is actually cheaper than having the telephone system.
Yeah.
Overall, because you don't have to buy a massive PABX to support all this, And it's just easier, and it's a nicer experience for people. It's something a little bit different. Yeah, sometimes people have a little bit trouble using it in the beginning, but after a while they get used to it, they enjoy it, and it's they see, this is the way it should be, So that's what we try and do here, is like create like a proper hospitality experience where guests can interact with the staff. I mean, we even encourage. I mean, some of the things like with Gen Z coming at the moment is a bit of a problem because they're not really used to talking with people that much. Yeah. If it's like online emojis, this, that, and the other. So if you get a Gen Z waiter trying to talk to customers, you really have to encourage them to talk to guests.
Yeah.
So we actually have a bit of a program running at the moment to try and get our staff to interact more with the guests, talk to guests, like, because guests are appreciative if somebody asks them, how's your trip down? How's your, and then they get to know them. How's your family? How's things? They have a little bit more interaction. So the guest gets more of a feeling when they're visiting a hotel that, they know somebody, they know the waiter, they know the guy who's going to talk to them, or somebody's interested, like shows real interest in their life, or what they're doing or how things are. Yeah. So, but in Indonesia, it's quite easy to do that. It's one of the easier places for sure. Yeah.
Menarik. Tadi di 2020 sampai ke 2022 dianggap masa-masa COVID ini kan agak settle down. Kalau 2022 ke 2024 ekspektasinya kan tadi harusnya ini adalah boom. Is it happening?
The real expectation was like you'd have 2 years of COVID and then 2 years of recovery, because you can't really go like switch once you turn off a lot of the stuff, especially for airlines. I mean, a lot of the planes were put in storage. A lot of the crews were put on furlough, let go, or just put on standby. So for all that to gear back up again, it takes actually a couple of years, because airlines have to restart their routes, put in the applications, put in the planning, stuff like this, So you see a recovery after 2 years of COVID, which is what happened. I mean, any flights that were available were full, and they were overpriced. So that's why last year, for example, or the first year after COVID, you would have seen airline prices like
Yeah.
at a premium. You know,
Highest
you'll never
in the
see
world.
the highest ever. You know, and that's like people are like, wow, that's just because there was so few planes and so few crews. But now, like as all the airplanes and all the crews are coming back online, all the flight paths are all sorted out, you'll see like a drop in prices, and then you'll see even more travel. Because you know what happened during COVID was that people had like pent up desire to travel. You know, they were at home, they were looking at Bali, they were looking at Jakarta, they were looking at Vietnam, Thailand. So what happens basically after COVID is that people will take, you know, some domestic flights first to kind of get warmed up, get comfortable traveling again. And then after that, maybe they'll do a 2 or 3 hour flight international, like somewhere close to Thailand or Singapore. And then after that, then they'll start doing long haul flights to Europe, America, stuff like that. So kind of that's the kind of trajectory of it. Yeah. But for sure, I mean, now with all the airlines back, people are still looking to travel. People's travel patterns are a little bit different. People have more time off. You know, often they have like either a Monday or a Friday work from home where they can basically travel Thursday night. So they get a long weekend. They can work wherever they are, on the beach, in a hotel room, somewhere else. So people are taking shorter trips, but more regular kind of trips, you know. And then when they're going to hotels, they're looking for a lot more experiences, samplings, you know, trying different types of food, looking at people are a little bit more interested in culture these days because they've realized during COVID that, you know, there is so many great places to see. Yeah. And one of the good things actually that happened, you know, not many good things happened during COVID, but tourism wise, is that people in Indonesia during COVID and just after that, they kind of got an experience that, you know, there's more to Indonesian travel than just going to Jakarta or Bali. You know, there is like Labuan Bajo, there is Toraja, there's, you know, many different places.
Raja Ampat.
So, yeah, Raja Ampat. So people are, you know, Indonesians are traveling more to destinations that maybe before COVID they wouldn't have gone to.
Menarik. Pertama, ada dorongan yang cukup serius di pembangunan untuk domestic tourism destination. Yang kedua, bahkan di negara Indonesia, saya baca di berita, Indonesia adalah yang domestic flight-nya itu termahal di dunia. Itu nomor 1 loh. Termahal di dunia itu domestic flight-nya Indonesia. Tapi di tengah kondisi seperti itu pun, bisnis hotel bukan hanya survive tapi bisa thriving. At least Archipelago International. Artinya industri perhotelan di Indonesia itu sangat menarik. Apalagi kalau regulator, infrastruktur diperbaiki, dipermudah. Plus dengan adanya ibu kota Nusantara. IKN di Kalimantan, Borneo. Pembangunan itu, aku sangat senang Mr. John waktu itu bilang, kalau ada pembangunan yang besar, maka akan ada banyak meeting. Dengan ada banyak meeting, ada banyak pertemuan, ya hotel akan lebih baik lagi. Jadi yang kupahami adalah industri hotel di tengah Indonesia, negara dengan domestic flight termahal di dunia saja, ini masih hidup dan striving untuk maju ke atas. Apalagi kalau ke depan akan lebih banyak insentif-insentif dari pemerintah, regulator untuk menurunkan harga flight dan lain sebagainya. Jadi industri perhotelan dan bisnis hotel ini sangat menarik. Plus lagi, Archipelago International setahu saya tidak menerima investor, maksudnya tidak ada investor, ini hanya bootstrap dari keuntungan sendiri. Jadi no investor in Archipelago International.
No, we don't have any. We're organically grown, if you like. We started off with basically like very little money, and then all the money we got into the company we reinvested over the years. So, I mean, we started off poor. I mean, we didn't start off like as a rich company and getting in investors and private equity and all this kind of stuff. We started off like with, you know, a few $100,000, and then built up the company like we were four to six people. You know, I mean, now we're 250, and started off with a couple of hotels, a few contracts. Now we, you know, just doing management, and now we do, you know, software development. We do distribution, connectivity. We do, you know, a lot of different stuff across the business, architectural plans, designs, building our own hotels. So we've grown out, but I mean, yeah, we started off like very small and then just grew organically. But yeah, we don't carry any debt at all. We've never taken any investment. We've never looked for private equity or taken a loan from the bank. Everything we have is fully paid for. So that's one of the reasons, like when COVID came, we were able to It was pretty good. We had just we actually did we look for different stuff to do sometimes. We actually did the athletes villages for the ASEAN Games.
Okay.
We did the athletes village in Jakarta and the athletes village in Palembang. So after we got paid that, then COVID came. So we had that little bit of money from the ASEAN Games from doing that. That helped us. Then we were like, okay, we can. What are we going to do with this money? So then we reinvested it into actually. Where we opened up Aston Chilegon was one of the things we did, and the other thing we did was we developed the Centec property management system. Which took about we had 30 or 40 guys working on it, software developers, and that took about 2 years. But that's what the investment was. But after that, then we were like, we came out of COVID as a pretty different company. We were able to almost press the reset button and redo stuff that we wouldn't have had time to do previously. But during COVID, we said, okay, what do we need to change? What do we need to fix? What can we develop? So at the end of COVID, we'll be like a butterfly, be like a different kind of company, a much stronger company, much leaner company, and much more organized, So we were able to do that, taking 2 years, like just focusing on that,
Jadi sangat menarik ketika kita lihat bahwa mulainya dari 4 sampai 6 orang, 4 to 6 people, 1997.
Or probably maybe not 4 or 6, could be 10.
10,
maybe 10 people, but I mean not much more, right? It wasn't very small,
10 orang dengan modal kalau dirupiahkan mungkin sekian miliar lah. Ratusan ribu dolar kan sekian miliar lah ya. Jadi dengan modal sekian miliar dengan 10 orang dan sekarang ada di 300 kunci atau 300 hotel dengan brand-brand yang tadi disebutkan, Aston, Alana, Hotel Neo, Quest, terus Fave. Itu dibangun tanpa investor dan tanpa hutang. No debt, itu kan berarti memang tidak menghutang ke bank dan segala macam. Ini bisnis yang sangat menarik. Jadi, dan yang ku tahu juga bahwa kalau teman-teman di sini, folks, kalian punya gedung, hotel, atau kalian punya tanah kosong, atau kalian punya apapun yang kalian rasa ini bisa jadi bisnis hotel, yang kalian rasa itu proper, saya rasa bisa dikolaborasikan atau bagaimana biasanya?
But normally, I mean, we try, and as a company itself, like when we started off, we always wanted to, just build a nice company. We were never set up to go, oh, we're going to go public in the future or get in private equity or something like that. We were always set up like, the goals was create like a really good hotel management company that's really good at hotel management. That's it. And then the other things that came along afterwards, whatever we do, it's always based towards, geared towards us becoming a better company, offering better services, more streamlined services, cheaper services to owners, and better customer service, better loyalty programs and stuff like that, better brands, fine-tune the brands. So it's always geared towards that. So we're always trying to, improve things, improve the company.
Kalau semisal, what kind of opportunity for Indonesian businessman or investor to collaborate with Archipelago International?
Well, normally we do. I mean, our core is hotel management. So, for example, if somebody has land and they're interested in building a hotel, like they'd contact us, and then we'd talk about, have a look at the land, have a look at the market, have a look at the market demand, have a look how much money they want to invest, and what kind of hotel they have in mind, what's their vision for, like, what's their wishes, what's their desire, and what they want to build, So once that's fine-tuned, then you'll figure out, okay, maybe this location is good for a 3-star hotel, it's good for 100 keys, it's good for, then you figure out how many meeting rooms you want to have, how big the coffee shop would be, how big the parking space should be. And then after that, then you work out like terms of reference. It's called TOR in the business. And then you'll give that to the architect. Either we design it or the person's architect will design it, and then, develop the property, And then along the path, of course, you do like financial projections, like a mini feasibility study to see, okay, if we build a 100-room hotel in this location, what will it cost? What's the payback time? Does that work out for their investment? So usually that's the way we work. Other ways to do it is, somebody might come to us, because what happened after COVID is that the digital market, online business became even more like accelerated. I mean, it was going more online anyway, but COVID just made things, accelerated about 10 years. Everybody's booking online. So, and the other thing is that because of the safety and cleanliness issue, more people are kind of geared towards staying in a branded hotel for the safety and security issues. So for a company like ours, a lot of, you get a lot more business because you're a branded hotel and you're easy to book online, streamlined, easy services. So, but some individual hotels don't have that kind of capability. Maybe they're a non-branded hotel. Maybe they don't have proper e-commerce or software systems or connect to online travel agents properly, or they have a bad commission rate with the online travel agencies.
Yeah.
So it's a lot better for individual hotels to join with a hotel management company like ourselves or Accor or Marriott or Hilton, for example, because you get, you know, the economies of scale, you get the expertise, you get the connectivity, you get the distribution, you get the proper systems. It's like proper hotel, you know. So that's why it's like branded hotels in general will do like 20 to 30% better than non-branded hotels globally.
Ya, tidak lupa juga mention Harper ya. Harper juga bagian dari Fave ya. Fave dan Harper. Yang menarik adalah pernah 1-2 bulan saat COVID 60%, 60% bookings come from OTA, Traveloka. Nah itu yang ku tahu bahwa Mr. John pernah cerita menjalin relasi yang terus menerus, continuum sama tim Traveloka dan OTA sejenis. Aku rasa itu juga sangat membantu buat para pebisnis yang mungkin berinvestasi atau menjadi partner dari Archipelago International. Karena kalau nggak dijalin kerjasama itu juga mungkin tidak bisa mencapai 60% di COVID itu.
Well, I think the statistic you're talking about, during COVID, there was like July and August, I think 2021, 2022 or something, where 60% of Traveloka's business was actually into Archipelago hotels. Because we had started doing like flash sales on Fridays and stuff like this.
Oh.
We did some other stuff because we sat down with our travel partners like Ticket.com and Traveloka. You know, we have very good relationships, and we said, okay, you know, it's a bad situation. What can we do to get people travel? You know, when they can travel, what can we do to get them traveling? You know, even if you're in Jakarta, stay in a hotel in Jakarta, just get out of the house, stay there. So we came up with some ideas to work with, like flash sales on Fridays, and I don't know if you remember those, but they were very popular. But in the beginning, it was only us. We started that, so it was only our hotels. So at one time, like 60% of Traveloka's business was into Archipelago hotels.
Oh, berarti bukannya 60% Archipelago itu dapat booking dari digital, tapi justru 60% bisnisnya Traveloka itu Archipelago.
Yeah. Which is huge. I mean, it's not like that now. It could be maybe 10%. At that particular time, it was particularly big because of we were the ones who were providing. Because what happened during COVID was that a lot of companies, a lot of hotel management companies went to sleep. They like, you know, we'll come back later on. They went home or they just stopped doing stuff, you know. But we actually got more busy. We sat down and we said, okay, what can we do? I mean, with the little bit of business around, how do we get as much of that as possible?
Yeah.
You know, so okay, maybe there's only 20% of the normal business, but okay, how do we get a bigger share of that 20% than anybody else?
Yeah.
And then we worked out our plans. And for us, it worked out well. I mean, the other strategy we did was we didn't close down hotels during COVID, except in Bali, which was particularly effective. But just in general in Indonesia, we figured out that most other hotels will close.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, government still has to travel. They still have to have meetings. The NGOs to discuss COVID still have to travel. Some corporate business will be there. There'll still be some domestic travelers. So we said, okay, we'll keep our hotels open and just pick up any business that's around. So we just streamlined the hotels, trying to make them as efficient as possible. You know, maybe staff were working half-time, but all the staff got to keep their jobs. You know, the hotels kept open. The air conditioning kept working. Swimming pools were still filled. F&B was still working. So, you know, we were able to tick over. We worked out what the break-even point for each hotel would be, and we were able to meet the break-even point. And then I used to send letters to owners once a month or once every 2 months with an update. Okay, this is the situation. This is what we're doing. This is, you know, what we're working on. This is the thing. So most of the owners were very happy. I mean, everybody, you know, all the hotels stayed open. They all kept in good condition. And then when business came back, we were able to ramp up the business a lot faster and then get a bigger share of the business straight away because our hotels were in very good condition. They were still maintained. Yeah. And all the staff were still trained. Things were still running. So in that way, we were able to come back out of COVID a lot faster.
Menarik. Di beberapa daerah seperti Hong Kong, itu ada capsule hotel. What do you think about it in Indonesia or Southeast Asia?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, capsule hotels are an interesting one. I mean, you have some branded ones like Citizen M hotels from the Netherlands, which are quite a popular brand. But I mean, capsule hotels in themselves are good for a particular market. Like, I mean, originally they started in Japan for people who didn't want to had a late night drinking after work and didn't want to go home. They just wanted to sleep basically in a some very small space, get up the next morning and go to the office. That's the reason for them. So in places like train stations or airports, very transit kind of areas, they work out pretty well, you know. But in general, like most people will go for like a select service type hotel, like a 2-star type hotel where you still have maybe 15 square meter room, you still have your own bathroom, stuff like that, especially these days, because after COVID, people don't really want to be sharing bathrooms with 10 or 15 or 20 other people. If you're in a capsule, you know, you still have to share bathrooms and stuff. So people will pay, you know, $10, $20 more to have their own bathroom, their own space. Yeah. So, but there's a market for them, but it's not as big as you would think. I mean, the other thing that's changed is, for example, Airbnb would be a similar thing where people think, oh, I can stay in an Airbnb, my family, and it's cheaper than a hotel, and I get all these apartments. But that's shown to be, you know, people are kind of going back to hotels now because Airbnb has its own problems. Sometimes it's not as advertised. They're also quite expensive now. On average, like Airbnb is more expensive than a hotel.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the host is not that nice. You also have to clean. Sometimes you have to clean the place before you leave out all the rubbish, all this kind of stuff. So people are just like, I might as well just stay in a hotel. So, you know, things come and go and the flow of things. But I mean, there is some different trends coming in. But you know, hotels are doing quite well at the moment.
Yeah. Archipelago International open opportunity for franchisee or partner. Tapi berapa persen yang dimiliki sendiri dan berapa persen yang dimiliki oleh partner? Dan bagaimana itu berjalan? Apakah lebih baik own sendiri, jalanin sendiri, ataukah sama aja? Mau partner ataupun sama aja?
Well, normally, I mean, for a hotel like us, for a hotel management company like us, you know, we build and we develop. I mean, there's other hotel companies like Marriott or Accor, for example. Their model would be more asset light. So they wouldn't be into building their own hotels. They'd be just into, you know, management. So they're able to, you know, expand exponentially. Like they don't have to worry about building their own hotels and getting into the details. And it's quite labor intensive and capital, you know, need a lot of capital for it. If they want to grow, like their focus also is a lot more on brand building and then, you know, growing their loyalty membership programs, you know, basically, right? So whereas us, we're more into like the actual nitty gritty of the day-to-day management of hotels. We're that kind of company. So we'll have a brand, but we'll also do the management. Whereas the bigger international brands will actually hire a company like us to manage as a third-party operator their hotels. So we could end up like, for example, companies like us would be managing international branded hotels, like globally, like for example, Aimbridge in America, they manage more Marriott hotels than Marriott.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but actually like a lot of developers will have two contracts. They'll have one contract with the brand, for example, Marriott or Accor for the brand and the loyalty program and the reservation system. And they'll have another contract with Archipelago, for example, or Aimbridge as a third-party operator to do the actual day-to-day management of the property. And then we'll just follow the systems of the brand they use, So we do actually that, plus we do our own brands. Some companies like Aimbridge, for example, they just do third-party operator and they don't have their own brands. So, but, you know, there's different things going on that in the hotel business, a little bit different.
Tapi jadi beberapa opsi ini yang manapun semuanya menarik untuk dijalankan dan punya revenue stream masing-masing.
Yeah, usually, I mean, a typical operator like us would take like a percentage from the revenue and then a percentage from the profit, because you want to make sure you're trying to, okay, it's great to have a lot of revenue, but you want to make sure as much revenue as possible is driven to the bottom line. So we were incentivized for both. That would be a typical fee like that, Normally for hotel management companies, it can be anywhere from, you know, 5% of revenue to like the international brands might take 15% of revenue if they're fully managing it,
Menarik. Dengan keterbatasan jumlah lahan dan juga jumlah properti, apakah Mr. John ke depan akan lebih fokus atau bahkan hanya fokus untuk manajemen sistem dan pembentukan brand, ataukah akan tetap ingin membangun sendiri lagi, punya sendiri, atau memang jauh lebih baik sekarang hanya fokus untuk pembentukan brand dan manajemen?
For us, I mean, it's good to have a few hotels built of our own. But I mean, I think like I mentioned before, some of the benefits are, you know, you can use that as almost like an example of how the brand should be a showcase. So you can bring other developers there, other general managers, other staff, bring them, train them in the hotels, set up your systems. It also gives us a chance to set up the hotels exactly the way we want them.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's the standard. Whereas sometimes if we meet with developers, maybe they follow 90% or 95%, but there might be something where they don't want to do it, or it doesn't fit the market or something like that. So it's a little bit changed, but they are also, like, if you build your own hotel, they are capital intensive. I mean, you have to put a lot of money and a lot of effort into building a hotel, whereas if you're just managing or licensing agreements or something like that, then you can expand a lot more and a lot faster.
Yeah.
You can take on like operating hotels that are currently open, rebrand them, and then straight away you're getting cash flow in, right? You're getting fees. Where if you're building your own hotel, it might take you 2 or 3 years before the hotel is open, and then you're getting money coming in.
Okay.
So it's different. The easiest way actually is if you're doing like a licensing agreement, or another system we do is called Powered by Archipelago, which is we work with individual hotels that don't want to become operated by us. They want to manage it themselves, but they need help with the expertise on, online connectivity and distribution. Because what happened during COVID is that a lot of people turned off their booking engine and channel manager and got rid of their e-commerce staff.
Yeah.
And now people want to reconnect.
Yeah.
You can't find the e-commerce staff anywhere. So basically people have to outsource that now, because you can't get the expertise, to negotiate properly with online travel agents, to be able to set up your proper rates and systems in your property management system.
Menarik.
So to do that, it's a bit more of an expertise kind of field these days, And that's one of the things that we focused on 20 years ago. We thought this would be a core competence of our business, would be the e-commerce. So I think maybe 40% of like our corporate staff would be just focused on the e-commerce business these days, because it's like a specialty of ours,
Yeah.
And we do that in many places. I mean, we started off doing it as in Indonesia, but now we do it in like 14 other countries around the world. We do it in like Mexico, Dominican Republic, Cuba. In Africa, we do it in Kenya, Tanzania. We do it in the Middle East.
Yeah.
We do it in Cambodia, Philippines. We do quite a lot, So it's a different kind of thing. But, for us, that's also a step in to that. And then later on, maybe, when they need help with a brand, they need help with their website, they need help with, different things. Maybe they need full management, maybe they need a brand. So it's a good foot in the door for us. And so it helps us a lot, because we expand our footprint, get access to other markets, but also helps the individual hotel owner, or it can be a group of hotels we do. So they get more online business and more expertise that normally they wouldn't have.
Menarik. Menurut Mr. John, I'm sorry I call you Mr. John, not John. In Indonesian,
Pak John.
Ya, Pak John gitu. Kayaknya rasanya kurang sopan kalau manggil langsung nama John gitu kan, kayak ya rasanya loh. Makanya Mr. John. Sebenarnya sehatnya kalau saya punya sebuah tanah, lalu saya mendirikan hotel. Katakanlah saya berdirikan sendiri atau dengan Archipelago International atau dengan yang manapun, sebenarnya berapa lama waktu untuk break even point?
Normally from the time you open a hotel until the break even point is typically for a hotel is like 7 to 8 years.
7 to 8 years.
Yeah, if you do it super quick, like if everything's like works out really well, it could be 4 or 5 years. Or if it goes badly, it could be never. You might never. I mean, there's many hotels around the world. I mean, they're massive constructions. People spend $100 million on it. They'll never get their money back on it. So you have to be very careful with what you're doing with it. I mean, it's a great business. It's a great way to make money. It's a good investment as a kind of a mixed portfolio. But it is also a quick way to lose money if it's not done correctly. That's why a lot of hotels there's many hotels for sale, but a lot of them can't be sold because they don't fit. Either the location is wrong for the type of hotel it is, or they have the wrong number of rooms, the wrong type of rooms. They don't have enough meeting facilities. They don't have enough car parking space. You have to have that right mix. And if you work with an operator, they can give you that guidance. But sometimes people just build something because I want to build a 5-star hotel in 100 rooms, but it's like maybe it just doesn't work.
Jadi ini catatan penting bahwa jangan sampai udah terlanjur bangun, udah salah lokasi, salah sangat banyak hal, lalu baru minta tolong dong saya mau dibantu, itu kayaknya agak terlambat karena udah terlanjur salah lokasi, salah ruangan, salah fasilitas, bahkan bisa jadi salah luas parkir dan lain sebagainya. Jadi ada baiknya bahwa dari awal bekerja sama dengan orang-orang yang memang paham di industrinya. Menarik. Well, Mr. John, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Aku sangat senang bisa berbicara dalam bahasa Indonesia. Tapi dimengerti dan dijawab dalam bahasa Inggris itu menurut aku luar biasa, karena dengan begini bahwa aku sangat bangga Archipelago International berdiri di Jakarta. Dan sekarang sekalipun CEO-nya Mr. John mungkin masih warga negara Hawaii? Irish. Jadi walaupun bukan warga negara Indonesia. Oh sudah warga negara Indonesia. Oh tapi double ini ya?
Oh, just Indonesian. Only Indonesian.
You're Indonesian?
Yeah.
Ah. Oh ini PT Archipelago Indonesia juga di Indonesia, PT-nya juga di Indonesia. Dan Mr. John, kalau keluarga di sini atau keluarga di?
Keluarga di sini. My wife and daughter are here. So. Yeah.
Walah, ngomong aja, kita orang Sunda tinggal di Bandung. Oh istrinya orang Bandung. Istrinya maksudnya Indonesia Bandung. Oh, wow. Wilujeng Sumping. Loh, apa itu artinya? Gak ngerti aku. Nuhun. Well, thank you Mr. John.
Very welcome.
Bye folks.